Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. Hello. Welcome. I can hear you. Of the Lions Den podcast. Hold on. Sorry, guys, having technical difficulties. Hello. I can hear you.
Oops.
Okay. What a way to start the last episode.
Kind of fitting for the season where we are here to recap. You know,
yeah, man.
kind of poetic, a poetic start to the final podcast. Considering the season we're here to talk about.
Yeah. Anyways, let's try this one more time.
Ding, 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 ding. Hey guys, welcome to the episode of the Lions Den podcast. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Like Lou was saying, we're here on Monday Night Football. Unfortunately, the last podcast of this season for obvious reasons. But we're here very excited, because of what happened last night. But we're here to talk about everything that happened last night and kind of looking into the future. So for everybody joining us via Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, let us know what your thoughts are. If you share the same pain as we do, comments, anything goes. We'll definitely share on the screen, keep the conversation going. So we'll talk about what happened in Toluca, what kind of looks in the future repechaje, future club, and anything else in between. So Carlos, Louis, gentlemen, how are we feeling post last night's madness of a game?
You know, it feels different than other eliminations just because of the way the season was going. I mean, I think we all figured we would make the repechaje, but we probably didn't have too high hopes about what we would do once we got there. And so, I don't know. Maybe it's not as soul crushing as a few of the other ones. I mean, finishing at the top of the table and getting eliminated early was probably worse. As was arguably making it to the final and not winning. I mean, you can argue about which of these contexts is worse and which is more painful. I mean, obviously recency bias. This one feels pretty bad because it just happened, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't know if it just, it felt like this season was potentially lost a long time ago. Like you just got the feeling that this wasn't going to be our season anyway. Whether we made the repechaje or even direct qualification or what have you, it just kind of felt like maybe this wasn't going to be our season. And so if this is even looking on the bright side, because it's kind of a dire way of looking at things anyway, maybe they kind of put us out of our misery a little early, and now we don't really have to worry about it. We can start fresh next season because this season wasn't going to be ours anyway.
Yeah. Just a tough way to go out. I mean, that many goals scored in one game, first of all. The most of the season, I think in La Era de Holland. And it came in the last game, and it was a do-or-die game, and we just couldn't pull it off. It would have been nice to have a nice little run, maybe in repechaje or in Liguilla. But, yeah, like Louis said, I mean, it didn't look like it was going to be our season. And might as well just close the book last night and move forward, reflect on the season, figure out what's going to happen, hit the reset button for sure. And then, try to come back next season.
Yeah, there was a lot of mixed feelings last night. Literally, last night depended on us to win. A lot of things depended. Obviously, Mazatlan was depending on Toluca, and then obviously Querétaro as because of the fine. And there's too many things on the line of last night's game, which was pretty crazy. But in the end, I mean, we just couldn't do it. But we'll definitely talk about that now. Carlos, are you ready for pregame ahead of this match?
Let's do it. So as you guys know, we were obligated to win last night. Draw wasn't going to help us advance. So didn't happen. We'll talk about it in just a few moments. But not everything was bad news yesterday. A lot of good news came out from our Sub-20 and Sub-18. Jonathan Reyes from La Sub-18 was crowned the goal-scoring champ of that season. So that's a huge plus for one of our youth players. Also, the Sub-18 made it into the Liguilla, so they'll be facing Cholos. I think the schedule came out today. I don't have it in hand, but I can tweet it out or retweet it later today. And also the U20 qualified as first seed, also to Liguilla, and they'll be playing Santos, which is pretty close to where Cari's at. So maybe you'll be able to catch a game.
I need to double check, but I know it's scheduled for Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning.
You'll get to see some nice faces there. Maybe Armando Leon, Pedro Hernandez. You know, some of the guys that shot their shot in first division.
Well, I'm glad to see that the Soup 20 and the 18 are doing great things. Maybe the first team should take a scoop of that.
Yeah, especially excited about the Sub-20. Like if they keep advancing in the tournament, I mean, I'm hoping they did this a couple years ago. I don't remember if it was the Sub-20 or the Sub-23, but they made it to the final against America, and they played the final in El Glorioso, and they opened it up to the public. So maybe if that happens again, maybe we'll get one more chance before next season to go see something at the Glorioso, something worthwhile. Hopefully those filiales can keep advancing, and maybe we can get a title of some sort this season.
Yeah, I think the Sub-20 has the better chances out of both because they were first place. So they're playing. They're closing the closing leg will be played at home for them, so home field advantage, and they have a ton of experience in there. You know, a lot of these guys from the Sub-20 were with the first squad when they played Chivas last month in San Jose.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of them looked really good on the field. Like dejaron a good taste in your mouth, a good impression about you know how they played against Chivas, especially you know Chivas played with a couple of their usual starters. Shout out to Chivas del Norte on the chat. But yeah, I think these guys, the La Sub-20, are like really can make a deep run in the playoffs. Maybe that'll be the only championship we'll get out of this season, guys. But
yeah. I mean that would be exciting. I don't remember the last time one of our categorías inferiores won a title. I mean, it's been, I don't think they have as long as I've been following the team, really. And so I think this would be really good for the Sub-20, and for them to do that would, I mean, obviously these categories exist to serve the first team, and this would only mean good things for the first team to have one of these teams, or both, why not, in the hunt for their respective league title. I think that'd be great, and especially for Sub-20. I mean, obviously closer to the first division ranks. I mean, some of these kids, some of these guys, you know, maybe they figure into the plans for the first team as soon as next season. Who knows?
Enough of that, though. Can we just like get rid of our pain and move on to last night's?
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Rip the Band-Aid off
long enough.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Starting lineup: Rodolfo Cota, Avion Ramirez. At right back, Barreiro, Tecillo, Osvi, who we all thought was going to be out injured, but he ended up recovering. Fidel Ambris, Luis Montes, another one that we should definitely talk about. Angel Mena, Omar Fernandez, Jan Meneses, and Davila. I mean, we had a good attack. On paper, I would say we were the better team, but what happened?
On the pitch, we were also the better team, I would say. But
so what happened then?
What happened was that tenemos la defensa de agua.
I mean, our defense just let us down. I mean, I think the only unforgivable play was that Osvi own goal. Think about that. We don't have that. We're in the repechaje right now. You know,
the Osvi own goal, and I want to say the last Toluca goal with that should have been Cotas. That should have been Cotas. Ball.
Oh, el gol de Canelo.
Mm-hmm. That should have been Cotas. But all in all, it was Osvi. I mean, we had various opportunities. I just think we couldn't hold on in the back. Obviously, we've known this, we've said this, we've repeated this. Defensivamente, we're not a la altura. We've been wanting a legit right back. Obviously, that's a weak side. Then we have Osby, who's just, we've mentioned 10,000 times his inconsistency. Yes, he put a great ball, but what did he do? He turned around and gave us an own goal. Like,
well, he's a player who's kind of stuck in no man's land. He's not quite. I mean, he fits the profile of a modern wingback, but I don't think he's not skilled enough.
He's not skilled
either at defending or attacking. I think he's kind of caught in the middle, and he's kind of good. He's kind of serviceable at both, and he's rapido. So it's worth having him on the pitch in a lot of instances. But I don't think it's just right back now. I think it's also left back, Kari. We need more confidence in those positions, both on both sides.
We at one point, I mean, we do have Tecillo as an option. We've been saying this, like, we do have the option, but obviously then you leave, Mosquera and Barreiro, which they kind of have, depending on the narrow type of game. It's kind of like, I wish we had two Tecillos.
Honestly,
go ahead.
I would much rather trust Mosquera as a center back than trust Osby as a left back. Just the way he's been playing.
That's the thing. I feel like all of our center back options really regressed this season, with the exception of Tecillo. Although Tecillo, if you look back, did not have a great game last night. He was complicit on a couple of the goals. And there were so many, I can't remember which ones exactly in the order that they happened. But looking back, I mean, he didn't have his greatest night. And this season on the whole was not the greatest for Barreiro or Mosquera. Like, I just think it's time to say, although Barreiro had a good game last night, as we mentioned in the chat, against Canelo, one of the most dangerous attacking players in the Mekis. So there's that. I like Tecillo as an option at left back when you're more confident in the center back pairing than we've been able to be this season. It's been a rough season for the defense, although curiously before last night, they statistically, in terms of goals allowed, were in the top half of the league. I mean, it wasn't as bad as we perceive. It's just, but how much of that is Cota, right? I mean, how much of that is Cota making a lot of plays? It's been a rough season defensively, just in terms of our nerves and lack of confidence in our back line. So I think, it's time to look for new. That should be. I mean, first order of business this season is finding a permanent head coach. This offseason, I should say, is finding a permanent head coach. Then after that, you got to address the back line, starting from the outside in, starting with the laterales, but then thinking about the center back pairing, for sure.
You realize, like, Cota had a great season saving our butts. ¿Y para qué?
Yeah.
Like the song, Todo para qué, I had to say it.
Well, but where would we be without him? We wouldn't have even been in the hunt for the repechaje.
No, we would be down there with Xolos and Juarez by this time.
Yeah,
well,
a little bit more.
Well, to be fair, we also need to touch on this. Vázquez Mellado just left the club. Now, I wasn't even aware that he was still with us. Yes. Yeah, he just left the club. It was reported today. He was let go.
He was there yesterday, so that must have happened today.
Yeah, he was let go today.
Yeah, so Vázquez Mellado is out at Club León, but he did a great job when he was replacing Cota. He was up there.
Penalty.
We even talked about it on the pod. Like, do we keep Mellado like as a titular, or do we want Cota? But he did a great job. So if we had played with Mellado, like, I think he would have gotten us places too. But it's just our defense. It's our defense. Our defense needs to be revamped. We need a center back really, like, badly. We need a center back, and we need true outside backs. Yes. Outside backs. Avion. We can't keep playing Avion or Mosquera as a right back. We need a real right back.
A real right back.
Osby. I don't think Osby's leaving, guys. I really don't think Osby's leaving.
I mean,
he's on my list of transferibles. My personal list.
I was thinking how much would I hate seeing any former Leon player go to Seattle Sounders, but in his case, I'd be okay with it.
I kind of,
Please.
I think I'm with Carlos. I don't think he's gonna leave. As much as I want him to leave, that I think it's just he's shown what he has shown with us. I don't see him brillando más than what it is at this point.
You think he reached his peak?
I think so, personally.
Yeah, I don't see much room for growth there at this point either.
He's not a bad player. It's just the inconsistency, the poor decision making. He's
Injury
prone.
Injury prone, yeah, prone.
He's injured one game, then he's back the next two, and then what kind of how are we gonna be reliable on a player like that?
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Which
Chapo
ones that have
Montes. Chapo Montes. ¿Se va o se queda?
Well, isn't it said que no ha renovado?
I mean, that's
or
what I've
it's
been hearing.
I think I hear two different things. I hear que no han renovado, and that I think is he until 2023? There's kind of blurred rumors about that. And I think we touched about it last podcast the last two about is it time for Chapo to move on? I think we're talking about it in regards to the coaching staff, which I do have something to say. So I don't know if you guys saw, but I saw this on Twitter about a rumor about Colombato being borrado, because apparently there's a rumor, don't trust me, that's what I heard, but I did think it was odd he didn't start past two games.
Or play at all.
But apparently Olan lo prefería antes que Montes, and then hence that's possible why they kind of, didn't get along well. And Olan sigue apostando por Colombato. So then,
which isn't a bad option. I mean, I think Colombato has the he has a good argument to make. He's a lot younger, fresher legs. He can go a lot longer in a game. Maybe it's time for Chapo to come off the bench, and he didn't want to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a rumor. We don't have the inside info. Yes, in spite of the fact that I sometimes stay in the team hotels and talk to the folks, they don't give me that info. But that makes a lot of sense to me, Kari, that would be a cause of friction. And I mentioned here when we were talking about keep or yeet, like in terms of our players, the only I'm fine with this being Chapo's swan song, assuming we have a replacement in mind. Really, the only player on the roster, I said this, the only player on the roster who kind of sort of fits those same qualities is Colombato, a playmaker. We don't really have anything close to a number 10. I mean, we've talked about Omar Fernandez, but Omar Fernandez he's really a left winger, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's not really a central playmaker. And the only one who kind of could grow into that is Colombato if he's planning on being with the club long term. He's still a guy who has European options, I would say. So I don't know how much we should count on him going forward, but I mean, at least for next season, I would kind of like to see what he can do without. I hate even uttering these words, but without Chapo looming over him and causing that friction. I just, maybe it's time we cut bait. I just don't. But what's Chapo's future? Is he going to retire, or because I don't think he's ready to retire?
I don't think he's ready.
I don't think he wants to.
So what is he going to do? Is he going to go play? You're going to sign a contract for a year with Juarez, or what's he going to do? I don't know. They hate him up there.
They hate him, but with how they've been playing with Toluca, if they give him a Chapo with a breath of fresh air, I mean, it could change.
They hate him, but if he signed up there, I think they would instantly love him. I think that's kind of how they would be with him. Yeah,
that's kind of what I think. But I mean, that's like you said, it's not confirmed or anything. It would make sense. I mean, past two games, I mean, why not throw Colombato yesterday? I feel like we would have needed him Kind of seems just strange to me. But yeah, Josue on the chat, thank you for joining. Said things I didn't like, Chapo, out of rhythm. And also subbing in Federico Martinez instead of Ormeño, which to me was kind of like a useless subs at the end. It's like, what? You got, 6 minutes? Maybe?
Yeah. It's kind of like
Well, but I mean,
tirando toda la carne al asador.
the way things
Yeah.
played out, we had a chance to win up until the very, very last second.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if Meneses doesn't get too excited there, he's got a clear shot on goal, and we'd be talking about our matchup with Chivas next weekend. You know.
Yeah. You guys can see it still hurts.
Just as an interlude here, we haven't really we hinted at it, but we were robbed of just enjoying a great game, a great match. We were robbed of an opportunity to enjoy just probably the best match in Liga MX all season. It was the very, very last match of Liga MX in all season, and it was arguably the best one that was played in the entire league, in the entire season, and we were robbed of the opportunity to just sit back and enjoy it because of how much was on the line.
But I think because of how much it was on the line, that's why. Because you have both teams desperate. You have Toluca not wanting to pay up, and then you have Leon depending on themselves to get in because Mazatlan is rooting for Toluca because if we lose, then they get in. And then you have, I mean, it was just a lot on the line. Of course, I feel like there's more adrenaline. There's more like instinct. Hence, I think that's why we had 8 goals because they were, you know?
Yeah.
And
there was
let me just say,
a lot por definir.
Let me just say, we're not in the repechaje, but it does feel good that last goal did count so that Toluca does have to pay their multa.
That's probably the only good outcome, huh?
And you know, they really didn't want that.
Yeah.
At least the directiva certainly didn't.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it was going to be, just because it was Nacho Ambriz's return to the Glorioso, I think it was going to be intense no matter what the circumstances. And man, I would have loved to have this been like a Jornada 7 or something like that. If we'd gotten this in the Jornada 7, imagine that, when nothing was on the line yet.
Not
but
under Olan, because we haven't scored more than 2 goals.
Right.
Until,
yeah,
now.
They had never scored more than 3 goals in a match under Ariel Holan. And the only time they scored 3, I believe, the only time they scored 3 was the first leg of the final against Atlas.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
That was the only time. Yeah. But we were robbed, guys. We should have just been able to sit back and enjoy this. We missed the repechaje by 1 point. And, you know, it's kind of fruitless to think back on all the individual moments that could have gotten us 1 more point in the standings, because there were so many. But we were robbed of just being able to enjoy this 8-goal affair. I think it was the best match in Liga MX all season.
It was fun and torturous at the same time.
Not being able to beat Querétaro, not being able to beat Puebla.
I mean, Querétaro is the first one that occurs
San
to
Luis.
me too. No,
San
Luis, we got outplayed in that game. But Querétaro at home, I mean, if I had to look back on one moment, I just said it was fruitless to do so, but if I had to look back on one moment, because I said at the time, these are 2 points we are badly going to miss at the end of the season, and that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Also, we had a nice teary moment of the players saludando a Nacho Ambriz, the smiles, it was just so nice. It was like the mini reunion. So that was nice to see at the beginning of the game before all the chaos happened after.
Yeah, it was like everyone who was watching was kind of like, dang, like this is what we had and we don't have it anymore. Like it was kind of like one of those moments where you're like, it's cliche to say, but like you don't know what you have until it's gone. And everybody was just kind of like, dang, the ship sank on us this season with Holan. And we had Ambriz, and he's over here hugging the players. And there's that picture with Mena, where they're just both like caressing each other, and it's like, oh man, these guys nos dieron la gloria, and we didn't know how to keep that together,
keep that going the last season.
Yeah.
What makes you wonder, did it have to end the way it did? Was it necessary? I mean, I'll admit, I was kind of ready for it to end at the time. That wasn't the greatest last season that he had with us. It was a painful finish, also against Toluca. We don't have to relive that, but I think it was ready. I was ready for it to be over. And I don't know. I think in spite of all the Kodak moments and everything, I think I'm still content with it being done. I think obviously Holland had to go, but I don't know. Let's not rehash the past. It's time to bring in something new.
Well, talking about that, Josue did make a comment saying, "I hope Leon made the right choice. Arsenal kept the coach and replaced the players, and it seemed a good decision. Same when Nacho Ambriz was here. Can't wait for the next coach." With that being said, I know Cristian Martinez took over the 2 games, which in my conclusion, I did not really see much of a difference, which hence me to say I do not want him next season as a coach.
I don't either. And I think if we had made the repechaje and if we'd made a little run, say we got to a semifinal or something, which would still be a disappointment considering the squad that we have and what we're coming from just a semester ago. But I think if they'd done something like that, they would have been tempted to keep him, and I think that would have been a mistake. And now, maybe one of the many little blessings in disguise that will start to unfold after this premature elimination. I think the first decision that we made is that no, thank you, Cristian. We would love for you to stay in the organization, but you're not the long-term solution as director técnico. And I think there'll be no doubt about that they will search for somebody else right now. I don't want to be too hard on him. It was only he had 2 matches to show us what he's got, and that's not really a big sample size, but
no, but comparado de Chivas and America, I mean, there was differences.
Those interinos had more matches. That's what I'm saying. Those two interinos had more matches to turn things around than Cristian did. Still, though, that does not change my thinking. I think they need to do a broader search and find the right candidate.
I'll say this: the last 2 champions of the Liga MX happened with coaches that are ex-players of that squad. Right? Is it Cruz Azul and then Atlas?
Yes, that's true.
So that's my only argument for keeping him. Is like maybe these coaches that come back, these ex-players that come back as head coaches, maybe they have a little more drive, maybe they have a little more motivation to win it because they're part of it and they feel los colores, they feel the crest.
But both of those examples were way farther removed from their playing career than Cristian is, and both had more experience as head coaches in Liga MX before getting that opportunity. I don't think it's Cristian's time yet. And I think this.
So you would rather have a coach out there that's battle tested, someone that's proven.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we can talk about this. It was actually you, Carlos, who brought it up in the chat, and I kind of brushed it off. But since then, I've been seeing a lot more buzz about it.
Same.
That there might be an agreement, a tentative agreement, nothing on paper yet, but apalabrado with Larcamón. And I gotta say,
is it official? Like, is there anybody like official who, or is it just like blog posts or blog pages?
No, but one of the other blessings in disguise, like Larcamón would be a candidate for a lot of clubs in Liga MX that are looking for a new coach, that have interinos right now. But the fact that León is already done with their season and the other clubs they still have a Liga to play, I think León kind of gets the front foot. They can make him an offer first and kind of get in on the ground floor with that. And if it happens, I'm all for it. That would be option number 1 if it happens. Despite the fact that Larcamón, he's the darling of the Liga MX coaching circle right now, despite not having won a single thing. I think it is important to mention that he has not won anything with Puebla, but still, I think I would love to see what he could do with this squad.
But what, I mean, what is he gonna add? I mean, you have a Leon with an identity, and then I don't think he fits that. I mean, we're looking for someone that enhances, right? Not someone that changes their style completely, and then, you know what I mean? As much as he's like a popular kid in school, I don't think Leon wants to be their friend. If they're just looking at his popularity, like, oh, he's done really good with Bell, but you're right, he hasn't won anything. So, I mean, what is he gonna add to this team? I think that's what I'm looking. What is this person gonna add to his team? Does he fit our style of play? What is his? I don't know. I don't know. I think we need to look more past that.
So who do you have in mind, or what kind?
I don't have anybody in mind, honestly. I
honestly
just don't think Larcamón is an option. I don't want Christian either, respectfully.
If Larcamón is an option, I would much more prefer Larcamón over like some random South American from Uruguay or from Chile, like one of these like random coaches that nobody knows about. I'd rather prefer some guy that's already tested in Liga MX.
But who is that though? Except, I mean, to take out like people that are not coaching right now, who would that be? I mean, I think what Javi wanted, like, Romano.
Yeah, that's what Javier said.
At this point, I don't have any possible, but I don't think we needed to jump on Larcamón.
Well, I mean, if Larcamón makes the change over to Leon, he would have Ormeño and Fernandez, who played under him. And maybe maybe he knows how to sacarle más jugo a esos jugadores. Like, they haven't really been the players that they were in Puebla under him. So maybe he knows the secret. Maybe he has the magic water that they need to drink. I don't know.
Yeah.
No me convence.
Nah?
It's a risk. It's a risk for sure.
I think it's a huge risk because right now we're having so much time to like go, lay out all the players. Okay, what are we thinking? Who's staying? Who's leaving? And then, I mean, we have a lot of time. I think I don't want us to be desperation right now because we don't have time to be desperate right now. We have, whatever, we're not at a arbitraje. We have a lot of time to actually, commit to something.
Let me just say this. Who was the coach of Puebla before Larcamón? It was Juan Reynoso. And Cruz Azul, a club, I think it's kind of a similar position they were in when they hired Reynoso that we are in were we to hire Larcamón now. Like, Juan Reynoso had done well with Puebla. He hadn't won anything, but he'd gotten that Puebla team to be relevant in Liga MX again. And that's what Larcamón has done with them. He's kept them relevant. And then Reynoso goes to Cruz Azul, a team with more talent that has actual chance to win a title, and he wins a title with them. I think that same trajectory is possible with Larcamón in a team like León, where he's going to have way more talent to work with. I don't know. It is a risk, but it might be worth it. If there really is meat to these rumors, I would be okay with it.
I hope not.
No?
No. I'm just no me convence. I don't. Obviously, Almeida's gone, right? I would have probably would rather have Almeida over Larcamón.
Yeah,
Howdy is not on the Larca wagon.
I'm not. He hasn't won anything. Puebla hasn't won in 7 games. I mean, we're in the freaking same boat. You want someone to be better, no? Not someone que hizo algo bien, had great seasons, pero no ha logrado nada. No ha ganado un partido en 7 partidos. Why do we want that?
All I'm saying is that was the same position Juan Reynoso was in. One season later, he wins the title. He wins the title with.
But not everybody's the same. Like, look what happened to Guede. He went from different teams, and then ya lo borraron, and he probably, won't make a comeback until next year in Liga MX. You know. I mean, you look at Javier Aguirre. Like, he did well, and then came to Monterrey. No pudo con ese equipo que vale tantísimo dinero, and then he left. Y le está haciendo competencia al Barça. I mean. And, not everybody's path is the same. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I just don't see it right now.
Gary, with those arguments, we're never gonna hire a coach. Like every coach has like good and bad, and all you're doing is like, no, this is like the bad. Like you don't see the good.
This is the bad. Like, no.
I don't know.
Okay, so we have a couple comments. Amy Louie's mom said it was really exciting, very disappointing. The own goal was the worst. Yes, it was the worst.
It was because like, what is he doing?
Yeah,
I told Tom, I was like, Osby starting. He's like, but he's good. I was like, yeah, but then he's like, he does something good, he does something bad. So whenever he did the own goal, I was like, don't you think I know my people? Of course, that was an Osby moment.
I mean, given his defensive characteristics, that's exactly what would happen in that moment. Like he's out of position. He's out of position. Right? That's not where you want to see him marking or defending or anything. And so he freaked out and he did the absolute worst possible thing. That's unfortunately his tendency as a defender.
Like, mete el pie, like your foot.
Anything.
Like, anything but your head. No. Shout out to Logan said, I think Larcamon would be a great appointment for you guys. How often did Puebla get in the year? Larcamon barely ever since he came in and got every time. I also think Larcamon far better coach than Reynoso. Okay, Logan, but give me someone else. I'm tired of hearing Larcamon. Give me another person that you think would be good for us. Also to mention, did you guys see Angel Mena's Instagram and what he posted?
Yes, I did. I heard he followed it up.
Yes, did you see the follow up?
He did. Okay.
He followed it up with
once people started
or something.
Yeah,
so
once he started, people started rumoring. When people started rumoring about his possible departure, he followed it up with "Pronto regresaremos" or something like that, and with another Club León thing. So I don't think he's going anywhere unless the team decides not.
Question.
Okay.
We talked about everyone else. What about Angel Mena? Does he stay or go?
I keep him at the season.
That goal was vintage Angel Mena last night. He still got it in the tank. I know he does. And I mean, I haven't heard anything more about the Ecuador-Chile controversy in the World Cup. But as far as I know, Ecuador's still going to the World Cup. I mean, his best chance to stay fit and be in the conversation for Ecuador in the World Cup is to play another season with León. And he's really going to want to make a good impression next season. So, yes, I'm with you. I keep him at least one more season.
Me too.
But we also touched on the fact that he could be just kind of playing a little careful, so not to injure himself and not to risk his chances of getting to World Cup.
Now, yes. I mean, especially the way the season's been going. But next season, I mean, the season ends and then the World Cup starts. Anyone who's going to be in that squad needs to be match fit. I mean, and in good form.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did we lose Louis? Louis, you froze.
Anywho, so Mena stays?
I think Mena stays another season, especially right now. Where's he going to go before World Cup?
Yeah, I think we'll give him another season, but I feel like his playing level like really declined this season compared to previous seasons. Like we know he's not going to be the Angel Mena líder de goleo that he was a couple seasons ago. Like he set the bar really high for himself that season, and I think he had a lot to prove coming from Cruz Azul, where they didn't play him; they basically just let him walk. But I think he has a lot more to give. Like he's not done. I think the Mena we saw this season is not nearly as good as the Angel Mena that he can be. I think he still has a lot to give. So yeah, I'd give him another season at least.
At least another season.
Yeah.
What else? I was going to say something else from the game yesterday, but we talked about Greece not continuing. And I also saw some comments on Twitter about let's keep. No, I hope not. Respectfully, I don't think, like Louis said, I don't think it's his time. I think we need someone else.
I hope he stays in the organization. I think he's got a future as a PT, but not right now.
Not right now. So I'm gonna make a statement. Esta temporada fue un fracaso.
Yes.
Do we agree?
Yeah.
Disagree?
Yes.
Yeah, I was hoping you would ask us to define the season in one word, like you
Okay.
occasionally do, and that was going to be the one that I was going to choose. That's the one that I've seen most floating around on our
Es un
social media.
fracaso.
Yeah, there's no other way to look at it. Given the squad that we had
Mhm.
and the semester that we just came off of, there's no other way to look at it. It's a fracaso.
Yeah. And we usually like to bend things and sugarcoat things to try to make it seem like we'll be okay. Yeah, we lost, or yeah, we barely won, or we try to bend things our way. But this one you can't. It's not malleable. It's a fracaso no matter what way you see it. We should have. There's no way you don't make un repechaje. I mean, the worst teams don't make repechaje, and we're not in there. This league makes it so easy for people to walk into repechaje, and we didn't make it. So, yes, fracasote.
Fracasote should.
Absolutely.
Fracasote.
But
I mean, who would have
I mean,
thought how we
the
started the season?
the problems are much deeper rooted than just who the coach was.
Yes.
People have to understand that you do not go from a subcampeonato de liga, playing in a final, to not even making a repechaje the next season with the same team just because of the coach. I mean, that only happens if the problems are much more deep-seated. And so, I mean, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, not just who the new coach is going to be. Obviously, that's number one on the list, but there's a lot of introspection that needs to happen, a lot of analysis needs to happen throughout this institution before the next season starts. We've got a long off season. There should be no excuses about, being tired, coming back, having played a final, whatever. None of that, obviously, this time around. So I expect a completely different identity next season. It does not matter how much talent you have if the chemistry and the ambition and the identity are not there. So they've got a lot to think about and a lot to decide between now and July 1st when the next season starts.
Possible refuerzos? Can we talk about possible refuerzos? Or is that too early?
You mean like specific names?
Sure. I mean, the first one that comes.
You want?
I mean, the first one that comes to mind for me is like Berterame, like a true striker that we can maybe sign from San Luis, or
I think he'll be
Kevin
a free
Alvarez.
agent.
Kevin Alvarez.
Kevin Alvarez.
We did mention that.
I like that, but like you said, we don't know if they're ready to part ways with him.
No, but I know what positions are most need. I would do outside backs. One more contención. I like Fidel Ambriz, but he's still very young. He's not quite ready. Get someone to pair with him in the contención and centro delantero, obviously. So striker, contención, and the outside backs. Those are my priorities. I think that's where they should be looking first.
Is Meneses out?
No.
He's not out?
Oh, I don't want him to be out.
I don't mean me neither, but I think he's been wanting out for a while, so. No, not even to Pachuca, a little exchange.
I mean, we also have to think about if Yairo comes back, if George Gamble comes back, how things change.
True.
I don't want Meneses to leave. I don't.
I don't want Meneses to leave
He may
either.
want to, but I don't think he will.
But if Pachuca wants him and they're willing to give us Kevin Alvarez, I think that's a fair trade.
I wouldn't mind that.
We can move Omar into his more comfortable left wing role. We can have a little more security there. And
I like that.
And I don't know, maybe Campbell comes back. He's been playing well. Yeah, I think it kind of depends on like Pachuca is the undisputed super leader, although just one aside, they had a chance to get to 41 points and match Club Leon's all-time points record for a short season. They did not do it. That was the one silver lining of Pumas getting that win instead of the draw or the loss, which would have still given us a chance to get into the Liga with a draw. But Pachuca did not get to 41 points, and I'm happy about that. But so they're the super leader, but if they have a quick exit in Liga, as some super leaders are known to do, that could dictate how they do their future. Same with Monterrey, like depending on how they do. If they have a poor showing in Liga, they might be willing to they might not want to pick up Campbell's option. I mean, we'll have to see. Our directiva would prefer to just get the players they have on loan back and not have to pay for new players. So we'll see.
Yeah, I lost a tweet about a couple of players that still no habían renovado. I just can't find it.
We'll hear about it. We'll hear about it soon.
Yeah, we'll probably hear about it. I guess anything else that we want to say about this season, besides the fact que es un fracaso. Obviously, nothing happened in CCL. We were like, you know what? Let's just focus on Liga MX. Things start to decline. All the drama in the locker rooms, the switching of coaches, the depending on ourselves. Now we're not in Liga.
We do have a CCL coming up next year. So if we're serious about that, we have to get good refuerzos, obviously a good head coach, and we have to be serious about this stuff, man. Like we've been knocked out of CCL one too many times already in like bad results. So we have to take this serious, and this offseason is really going to tell us whether or not they're taking it serious. We thought they were going to take it serious when they brought in some nice refuerzos with Ormeño, Fernandez. We were like, wow, like what's going on here? Like they're really loading up for CCL and for Liga MX. Obviously, we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
But I think this offseason is very vital to next season, and not just Liga MX, but obviously CCL. It's gonna be important to see if they're serious about continuing this and who they hand off the project to.
It will be.
Yeah, I have kind of a hot take, I guess.
I was gonna ask because Carlos had a hot take yesterday, but Louis, let's go with your hot take first.
Okay.
Roll the clip.
So I think Ariel Holan got a raw deal in León. I think he's going to go back to Chile where they know how to respect him. And he's going to win at least one, if not multiple trophies with Universidad Católica in his first season with that club. And we're going to be here watching and be like, well, I wish we could have figured out how to make it work with that guy, because there is a reason he was so heavily revered in the coaching circles in Latin America, especially. I think we're going to regret letting him go. I really do. There's a reason it didn't even take a week for him to get a new job. There's a reason he was rumored to be sought after by the Selección de Chile, among other clubs, while he was still with León. And we are going to regret letting him go. And it's not going to be fun. He's going to turn into the coaching version of 3 former cartuchos quemados that are making the once ideal for Libertadores now. Yeah. Yeah. I wish we could have made it work with him, because I think we're going to regret letting him go.
Carlos, you were shaking your head like, no.
I was shaking my head because I'm like, listen, no disrespect to Chile and their soccer league, but this is a levels higher, man. The pressure here is levels higher. There's more at stake. Obviously, I feel like it was kind of the fans that kicked out Holan more than the players. There's a lot of pressure here, and there's no excuse for running through Santos, dropping them, Santos de Brasil, dropping them, coming to León, dropping them too, and then going back to your place of comfort, where you're comfortable in Universidad Católica de Chile. Like that's where he feels comfortable, and obviously they're gonna welcome him with open arms. So yeah, I mean, he couldn't handle the pressure, he couldn't handle the challenge, and he went back to where he's comfortable. That's what I think.
We'll see if he makes a Libertadores run with Universidad Católica. I think there's no. I mean, you can say the Mexican League is better than the Chilean League. I agree with you there, obviously. But there's no bigger competition in the Americas than Libertadores. So I'd like to see what he can do with them there. And not fun to see Gigliotti, Boselli, and Bordizo, who is still around, making the once ideal for Libertadores last week.
They're very loved by us. I love them.
Yeah. Good moments with all three.
Good moments.
Bordizo is really the only one I want back. I would take him back in a heartbeat.
How old is he, though?
He's 33, but he's still killing it.
Take him back. I take him back, too.
Yeah. He's still killing it, man.
Carlos, you had a hot take as well?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
It's on the chat.
I think it was about Ormeño. I said Ormeño. Play the clip.
Okay, I was going to say, do you want me to play the clip?
My hot take was that Ormeño was castigado by Cristian Martinez, or maybe internally by the players, because obviously he didn't play. We needed goals. He was nowhere to be seen. Same thing with Colombato. And I feel like the statements he made a couple days before the game kind of shedded some light on why. He said he wasn't in his best form. He said it's his fault he's not in his best form. He said he's going to try to do his best. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing. He's going to try to do his best to get back into top form, and try to be the player that Leon fans expected him to be when he first got here. So I'm thinking to myself, lo castigaron because he's out of shape, he's not concentrated, he's not focused, he's somewhere else, but he's not playing. And I mean, that speaks volumes when you have a striker, a natural striker on your bench. You need goals, and you don't sub him in. So that was my hot take. What do you guys think?
I think we've talked about how hard it is for Santi to get minutes because of Davila starting not in Davila's position, but acting like a false nine that has been effective. So therefore, if Davila's being effective and getting you goals, and how does Santi come into play? Because Leon playing with two forwards is not really Leon playing with two forwards. We've had issues in the past, even though Davila's not a true striker, but it just puts things in. We just don't really play with two nines, and in this case, Davila's not a 9, but he gets goals. Where does that leave Santi at? I mean, in Puebla, it was Santi up there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
you'd love to be able to have Ormeño as your target man and Davila as your false 9. I mean, that's how you'd love to be able to play, but Ormeño just hasn't produced, so they've had to do it a different way.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
because he has had a couple of starts, but he does more of the other work versus true striker work. I mean, he barely has a goal.
But it seemed a little strange to not see him and Colombato, like two pretty good players. Like they're good players. They're not chumps. To just be benched, not even see a single minute on the pitch last night. That's a little strange to me. It's like, what's going on? You need goals. You have a striker. Put him in. If you're going to put all of the carne en el asador, like I would prefer Ormeño over Fede, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think at the end, like you said, puso toda la carne asador. I think if he would have subbed in Santi, maybe not give him 6 minutes, maybe give him like 15, maybe we could have seen something. Obviously, it's hard to tell at this point. But I don't know. I just don't know what Ormeño's future looks like with Leon. I don't know. I mean, it's Davila's there. Unless we get a coach que apuesta Santi Ormeño game after game after game after game. But when is it until he's not producing? Then you have to leave him out. I just don't know where he fits in the scheme of next season. I mean,
yeah, he's already had. You can give him a pass after his first season, but he's had 2 seasons now, and we just needed him to be there a lot more for us than he was this last season. I don't know. I think it might be time to bid him farewell.
Okay, so that's another player that's also.
I think
walking.
That's another player we want. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anything else, guys, for this season? So we won't have to talk about this season and start a new one.
That's it. That's it. What's our? What do you guys think? Who's your pick for a champion this season?
Louis, go first.
Man.
Who do you think, or who do you want?
Both.
Using it again. Man, this is.
Carlos, do you have yours while Louis thinks?
I mean, listen, I wouldn't be mad if Pachuca won it at all. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be mad. Son parte del grupo. That's good revenue. Mm-hmm. Some of our ex-players are there. I wouldn't be mad if they grabbed another title. Like, I'd be totally cool with that. Everyone else, besides maybe Necaxa, San Luis, and Mazatlan, I don't want any other team to win it. I don't want Tigres. I don't want Atlas, America, Puebla, Chivas, especially Monterrey, Cruz Azul. Like all these teams, I'm happy with any other team except those.
Yeah, I mean, I would like of the serious candidates. I would like Pachuca also, but I just feel like one of America or Tigres is going to be there at the end. I don't know. Yeah. I just. Yeah, especially Tigres. I think I hate to say it, but I think they got their stuff together this season.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been a little shaky for them as of late these last few matches, but no, I think they're primed for a Liguilla run, and I don't know. We'll see. But I would like Pachuca. If I had to put money on it, I would probably say Tigres, which I hate. I do not want them to get to eight estrellas. Do not want that.
Nobody wants that.
But I think that's kind of the reality of the situation.
I'm gonna go Pumas.
Pumas.
Yeah, the Pumas that you guys underestimated in CCO, and I told you guys. I don't know. Look, I'm not feeling too confident about Pumas Seattle on Wednesday. I'm not. If they do it, awesome. I'm just not feeling comfortable with saying they're gonna win because obviously they gave up a lead at home, but. Scratch if that ends up being what it is, I'd want Pumas to win for Lilini. I like Lilini, and I think Vinero's a great player.
Who's your guys' dark horse?
Mazatlan.
There's plenty to choose from. Mazatlan.
My dark horse is Mazatlan. Yes, because Caballero and Jimenez have done such a good job with this team. So that's my dark horse.
I want to say San Luis, just the way they've been playing. They've been playing some good ball. Maybe Puebla, if that counts as a dark horse, because everybody was kind of saying, "Oh, están pa campeones," after their hot start.
Yeah.
But I'll say Atlas to repeat.
No, Louis.
No, Louis. No.
You're choosing the wrong ones.
I don't want them, but you asked me my dark horse.
Atlas.
I don't want them. I do not want that to happen. But if you ask me who my dark horse is, that's who it is. Because I think people are not thinking of them as a real candidate right now. But I mean, they're right up there.
They're in third place. So do they even count as a dark horse?
I mean, as much as Puebla does, I would say, because Puebla was there until just this last match, last match day.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, there you go. For anybody that their team is in Ligia, in Repechaje, congratulations. We have games this Saturday, starting with Cruz Azul Necaxa, Monterrey San Luis. We go on to Sunday, Puebla Mazatlan, and Chivas Puma. So we'll see what happens this weekend. Unfortunately, we won't be back next week since our team is out. So just as a team, we will be under construction until probably a couple weeks before July 1st, talking about, what coach hopefully we have at that time, any refuerzos, getting ready for the league right before World Cup. Very exciting. So we'll definitely be still out there. I know Louis' time at the stadiums has ended, unfortunately. Are you planning on seeing any like playoff games or anything like that, or no?
In person?
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
I'll take advantage of this time to stay at home and chill and not gastar in those trips.
Oh, okay.
Have some
Yeah.
seltzers. Also, one last thing
go on.
before we leave. La Sub-20, Sub-18, they play Thursday and Sunday of this week. So for anybody listening wants to continue watching Leon, at least at the youth levels. Thursday and Sunday, both clubs, back-to-back. Leon versus Santos, Leon versus Xolos. Should be interesting.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, in the meantime, anybody want to keep up with Leon news, don't forget to follow us. Our Twitter's on the screen. Also follow Club Leon EN to keep you updated with any updates of the team, anything, rumors, confirmations, departures, anything like that. We'll definitely keep you updated to get you ready for next season. Thank you guys, everybody that has joined us throughout the whole season. It's been a great pod season. Thank you for everybody commenting. Keep the conversation going. We really appreciate it. Getting to talk to you guys about Club Leon in English, as we are fans that suffer and have our glorious moments with the team. So, guys, we're going to take off. Thank you.